All right, here we go. We're continuing Perek Zayin, Likutey Moharan, second Chelek, Tanina. We explained that there's a leader has to be a Rachaman, has a Rachmanis on the people. That's the thing that qualifies him as a leader. And because the heaviest burden of all is the burden of Averis. Am Yisrael, because of who they are and what they are the total opposite of Avera. So that's a real Rachmanis. And we explained that the reason why people fall into Avera is because they have no das. In other words, the people like us. So we have a notion of basically, generally, we know what's what and where things are at, but it's not that clear to us, and it's not real. It's like theoretical. It's like as they say, we talk the talk, but we don't really walk the walk. Why don't we walk the walk? It's because we don't really. It all depends on how much you believe what you believe in. You really, really believe in what you believe, then you do it. But what happens if it's just like you basically, begadol, as they say, you believe in it. So this is how, it come to practice. Yeah, but now I'm bored, but yeah, but now I'm this, and now, yeah, but now I'm that, and so forth and so on. As the clarity of the Das Amiti diminishes, this is how the further a person gets from, putting it, walking the walk. It remains a nice principle. There's a big Rahmanas. The tafkid of the tzaddik is to embed it in his people. The Das Amiti. This is called a turning from, animals in human form into human beings, into Bnei Adam. That's the thing that makes. And we say that the shlemus is that a person will be after 120 years both in Olam Haba and both in Olam Hazeh at the same time. How can it be? So when a person leaves behind him a son and or a student, and we say, what do you have to open a kollel to do that? Well, how do you do that? He says, no, you just whenever you speak to somebody, be'emunah, Rabbi Shemayim, you are, for that particular incident, you are his Rebbe, and he is your Talmud. If he tells you something, be'emunah Rabbi Shemayim, Legabe he is your Rebbe, and you are his Talmud. And this is something that when a person does, and this is the thing that outlives a person, gives in Kiyum Olam Haba, in Olam Hazeh. Now, as we said, that this is mamish a substitute for a person. You do it by speaking to people the Yerushalayim. Now, and then we said that there is a notion which is called makif, and a notion is called pnimi. It's a seichel makif and a seichel pnimi. Seichel pnimi, the inner seichel, is what you understand, what you know. It's clear to you. You know how to walk home. You know how to get home. You know what's, maybe you know how to drive. But all these things are kinas pnimi. You know it. I mean, it's very clear to you, and Rabbeinu says in Torah Chafei that there are levels to it. When you get to call it sechel anikli, in other words, you no longer need to remind yourself of the various details of how to drive a car. That's the way you turn the wheel, and that's the way you turn it on, and that's the way you put it into gear, and that's the way you turn it. You don't need to, to know details. Okay, now this. In the beginning, yeah, When you first went into, with a driving instructor, he taught you, you do this and then you that, and then you sit there and you held the wheel. Whoa, 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 whoa! I'm driving. Remember that first time? But after a while, you know how to drive a car. Means all the different details disappear. They don't require a separate attention. You don't have to remember everything. It's already there. It's already in your fingers. I mean, you don't have to just turn on the light. You turn on the light. You have to, okay. The way you turn on the light is you go to where the light switch is, and the light switch, wherever, you're going to turn on the light, boom, you know it. That's called pnimi. That's sechel pnimi. Now, then there is a sechel makif. Makif is a encircling sechel. A sechel that encircles you. It means you have shaykhs with it, but you don't know it yet. You don't understand it yet. It's like driving was before, when you just decided, okay, I'm going to learn how to drive. So you didn't know how to drive yet, but you already saw what driving is, and you saw when you're driving, you can get to places and so forth and so on. It was already a makif. You knew it was there. You realized, quote unquote, what it was, but it still wasn't in your hand. You still didn't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? This is in other words, another way of saying it is that the pnimi is what you know. The makif is what you will know. If you'll keep on advancing, this is what you will. It's a continuation of what you know. It's a higher level of what you know. Now, we said that the makifim, every person has his own level of makifim. That which is a makifim by one person is considered even lower than the pnimi of another person. Okay, some people can fly a jet plane. Okay, the fact that I can drive a car by them is not even a pnimi. It's like below pnimi. It's like rudimentary. It's like I don't know. By me, flying a plane is total makif. I'm just like, I know principles. I know this. I know that. I can see, films about the planes, whatever it is. And I flew in a plane, the passenger. I don't know how to fly a plane. Yeah. Okay, well, somebody who knows. See, somebody doesn't know. It's not that easy. Anyhow, so for every person is a different level of what is makif to this, primi to this, and so forth and so on. There's a level of makifrim, which is already beyond time and place. We understand you're the makifim of here, you're not to do this, you're not to there, you have to go from here to there, and so forth and so on. These are makifim of Olam Hazeh. If you took somebody and you explained it to him long enough, and he was able to concentrate long enough, or maybe take a riddle and be able to concentrate long enough, they were to understand it. But there are certain makifin, they are totally beyond time and place. That it's a seichel which is, I can learn it for a million years and I wouldn't understand it. It's no longer in a, this is something that belongs to what they call olam shekula orad, an inherently long day. This is what we call olam haba. It's a day that it is constant. It is totally consistent below time because there's no gashmis over there. Whenever there is time and place, then the seichel has to do with gashmis. Then if you take enough time, you can explain it. You have enough intelligence, and you have enough somebody who can really explain it well to you, you're able to understand it. But when there's no time and place, you can't understand the seichel at all unless you're in the madrega of reality where, like the Gdolei Ador, the Chocham Amiti, the Bayim, the Makifim are already what they call Tkufas Hayomim, Tkufas Hashonim. The level of seichel. Okay, we know what days and years are in this world. We know that somebody who's passed away, there's a yortzeit. What does it mean? This person is not in the body anymore. So what does it mean that this is first yahrzeit, 100 yahrzeit, 50 yahrzeit, whatever? What does it mean? Not to us. To us, I understand. But what does it mean to him? What's it going to do with him? Pshat is that as he goes, as the neshama goes up every year, it becomes closer to Kodesh Baruch Hu, and it gets a new seichel. It gets a new makif. It's a makifim of Olam Haba. It's a pnimi of Olam Haba and a makifim of Olam Haba, and it's never ending. And the main enjoyment of Olam Haba, the main pleasure of Olam Haba, is all about the saga of these makifim that we spoke about. The asagas elakus of Olam Haba. Asaga means an attainment, comprehension, being able to when the makif comes in, when the makif becomes a pnimi. Now, if you understand, like you learn a Gemara and you don't understand it. Okay, so you know the details, but you don't know what it is. So you steig on it, whatever it is, and at a certain point, and you put Omalotayer, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you a gift. It shines into your mind. You suddenly, you prepare the different kalim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you a gift. You understand it. Anybody who's ever learned, a shtickle Gemara and understood, the suddenly it's the akasha of the teretz, the pleasure that you feel. Like, wow, now I get unbelievable. Ever had this experience? Sometimes, yeah. That's it. So we gave it based on Michtav Miliyahu, Rabbi Eliyahu Deslam, by the way, he was a Breslaver, the closet Breslaver. Yeah, and so he writes that what's to understand what's the pshat of Olam Haba. What's the shot of the pleasure of Olam Haba, of Gan Eden? It says, take the best times of your life. I don't know, somebody won a lottery, or somebody got on a shidduch, and she said yes, and a child is born. The bank says, yeah, okay, you can have the mortgage, buy yourself a new house. Or whatever it may be, something like the best experiences you can imagine. Now, I'm talking about the moment when that thing which wasn't yet. I mean, you went out on shidduch and it wasn't yet, and you are waiting and you're wondering if it's ever going to happen, and not going to happen, whatever it is. And when they tell you yes, she said yes. This is the instant when the makif comes in. Everything that comes afterwards is already okay, but it's not as a refreshing and exhilarating experience as the first moment of yes, you got it. Person buys a lottery ticket. Tell him you won. Wow, you're freaking out. It's like unbelievable, whatever it is. But just for that instant, afterwards, all your relatives from every corner of the earth discovered that you won the lottery. Everybody is hounding you day and night. How can you be so cruel and not give me money? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I said, there's reality after, when the makif comes in, when that thing which you didn't have before, it is like in a football game, it's like you're losing the game by, I don't know, by 4 points or whatever it is, and the quarterback throws the ball all the way, from the back of the field, and the last moment is the clock runs down, boom, the receiver catches the ball in the end zone, boom, you won the game. I mean, that kind of, and you take all these experiences of all the people of all time, from the beginning of the world until today, and all the way to the end of the world. And you take all these high points and you contract them into a single point in time. Everything. All the lottery winning, all the getting married, all the children, and everything. Everybody becoming a king, winning everything into one moment in time. Can you imagine the pleasure that is at that moment. It says this is a me'ain olam haba. You know, it's even begashmius. What's the pleasure? The pleasure is when the makif comes in. That which you didn't have, now you have. Now it comes in. Now you got the news. I'm ringing the bell. Yes, you got it. That's the union of the ikad oineg olama tainug olama is from the new makif. And every new makif means like you're getting all the pleasure of all the people in the world throughout history and whatever will be till the end of time. You're getting it in one fell swoop. That's another makif. That's a makif of olam haba. That's the main pleasure of olam haba. And now the thing is that how do you by us we call it a year. No, but how do you call by the niftar, by the neshama? The makif comes in. What do you call it? So you call it, euphemistically, you call it a day, a makif of a day, or you call it a makif of a year. So by us, where does it happen? So the outside. The year went around 12 months. Yeah, that's where the outside came.
They're aware of time.
They're not aware of time. They're getting a seichel that when we are gashmisdik, it reveals itself in time. But then there's no time. There's no time and place. It's only called a year, to call it, what do you call the seichel? You call it a year. But it's not a year on the clock. We explain it a little more deeply. We say that Rosh Hashanah, okay? When the Shabbos comes in, when does Rosh Hashanah come in? Rosh Hashanah, there is a certain process. Rosh Hashanah is Kolodin, everybody's standing there, Yira. Then the first third of the day, the Kodesh Baruch Hu, overnight, Kodesh Baruch Hu is looking, the entire people, all the oilam of Rimla of Likutey Moharan, and everybody is, he sees everybody, and he sees exactly what did everybody do throughout the year. Then during the day, he's I am the din of everybody. The second part of the day is when the din turns into rachamim. Because Baruch Hu goes from kisei din to kisei rachamim. As we're saying, in the tefillas of Rosh Hashanah, we say Kodesh Baruch Hu, he's standing up from kisei din and he's sitting kisei rachamim. That happens the second 3 hours of the day. That's usually when Kiyas Shofar happens, and so forth and so on. So the question is, when does it happen? Does it happen Yerushalayim time, Uman time, Paris time, New York time, or Tokyo time? When does it happen? When does the Kodesh Baruch Hu stands up from Kisei Shel Din and sits on Kisei Shel Rachamim? The answer is, in every single place where we are within the realm of time and place. We daven, we do the mitzvahs. Okay, that is the remote control that turns on the switch. That in Shemaim, where there's no time and place, Kiviyah Kodesh Baruch Hu gets from the Kisei Shel Din and sits on Midrash Rachamim. So, for instance, we give another example of Dalad Minim. Okay, Dalad Minim is a tikkun that we affect on Yom Tov, right? Yom Tov Sukkos. But it's a global tikkun. It's a tikkun for the entire existence. It's not just tikkun, for that moment in time, then it goes away. It does not go away. The entire world now has another tikkun of Dalad Minim of everybody who made the bracha and shakal and everything else. Okay? But the thing is that we can affect this tikkun of Dalad Minim because we are Gashmistik, because we exist within time and place. We can only do it when Yom Tov is Chal, for us, where we are. It's Yom Chol, Shabbos we don't shakal lulav, and so whatever this is how we flip the switch. That switch creates a tikkun, a global tikkun, beyond time and place, within time and everything, which is called tikkun of lulav and Dalad Minim. We do it within time and place. I mean, an esrog after Sukkot is worth nothing. Before Sukkot, it's worth $100. How can it be? Because the answer is that when it works, when a Daled Minim is no longer just, a citron with a lulav and a robinson, and it becomes Daled Minim, it becomes something which is spiritually so powerful. Then you take it, you make a bracha on it, you can affect that tikkun. The minute Sukkot passes, it returns to be just, the Daled Minim it used to be. Just the plants it used to be. I mean, you live in the Pesach, you use it because you use the mitzvah, so you use it to burn the chametz, but it no longer has any value. From the esrog, maybe you make jam or whatever. It's like you paid $100 for it, right? Because it's we exist within time. It no longer has any value. But we had that particular time when we could affect a tikkun which is beyond time and place. Okay? Now we said that there's a makifin which is beyond makifin, and makifin has makif to a makif, and makif to a makif, and so on and so on. Now, when a person, the technical, the way that it works is when a person explains his pnimi to somebody else, it brings a makif for him, his own makif in. That's the way it works. That's why we say, about Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Kibel Torah Sinai. Because Moshe Rabbeinu constantly gave his pnimi. So he constantly received new makifim non-stop. Everybody else already, it said, he's a Mesorah Yeshua, okay, there's already a presence of Messiah, because Yeshua could not be a spaklaria meira, could not be, like almost like a pipe that doesn't have everything just flows on. It could not, makif goes into, becomes pnimi and goes out. This is Moshe Rabbeinu, spaklaria meira. Everybody else, the makif has to come in, you got to understand it, and then you can give it on. So whenever somebody speaks to somebody else, be a shamayim, then his pnimi goes out to somebody else, and he gets a new makif in. Now, it's not just commensurately, I taught somebody how to drive, no, I know how to fly an airplane. It doesn't work like that. I mean, a tzaddik gadol says to a certain person, listen, you should not smoke on Shabbos. Okay? And the tzaddik gets the tzaddik's makifin. This was his pnimi. He gave a pnimi to somebody else. The tzaddik gets his own makifin. That's the way it works. Now we're going into a level where, this we learned last week, that there are certain makifin that the tzaddik has to be careful not to internalize, not to be masik. And it says the reason is, and the Rebbe give it an example. He says, let's say that the Rebbe explains a sug in the Gemara to his student, okay? And while he's explaining it, suddenly it dawns on the Rebbe that, wow, there's a tremendous kasha here. I never thought of it before. Why didn't he think of it before? Because he didn't explain it to the student. He didn't explain the Gemara to the student before. He didn't let his pnimi out. Once he passes over the pnimi to the Talmud, then a new makif comes in. Suddenly he's like, whoa, there's a tremendous kasha here. So while he is saying the kasha, he's telling the student, you know something? I just realized there's a bomb kasha here. Unbelievable difficulty here. And as he's explaining the kasha to the Talmud, he gets a new makif. You see a teretz. You understand how to explain that difficulty. And he says, if he will explain the teretz to the Talmud, he'll get a further makif. What will happen? He'll understand a bigger kasha, a bigger difficulty. And the difficulty will come back, and it not only will come back, it will be stronger and bigger and more powerful than it ever was. And it says, if you keep on going on and on and on, you're explaining the pnimi, you're explaining the Gemara, you're saying with the pnimi, you get a makif. You explain the makif, you get a pnimi. and so forth and so on, eventually you get to a saga of such makifin that there's not enough time to explain them, to comprehend them. And so by us, it's not that much of a problem. But by the tzaddik, with the sechel, that has the tzaddik amitis, the das amitis, he has to be very choosy. What kind of sechel to understand, and what kind of sechel that he chooses not to understand. Okay? So now we say Rabbeinu brings a Maisa, and he explains this particular thing and says as follows. The Maisa in the Gemara that says that Moshe Rabbeinu ascended to the Shemayim, that the Kodesh Baruch Hu was making, these little tupchiklach, in the letters in Sefer Torah, in Otias Shatnes Getz, they have, these three little sticks with a boli at the end, like a letter sign. Three small letter signs on the head of the letters. Shin, and Ein, and Nun, and Zain, and Gimel, and Tzadik. These are the osis that gets the tagim. Now, in the realm of letters, there's from the highest to the low, the very same way that there is like in neshama. There is, we have Yechido, Chayo, Neshama, Ruach, and Nefesh, right? Okay, but basically the main one by us is Neshama, Ruach, is Chayo, Yechido, Chayo, Neshama, Ruach, and Nefesh. The same level exists in the Oilamos. You have Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, and Asiyah. The same same division exists also in the realm of letters, Oisis HaTorah. So you have, this is called something which is called Tanta. It's called Tagim, Nekudot, Tavim, Oisius. First, we have these little shmetzeklech, these little crowns on top. It's called Tagim. Then you have Nekudus. Yes, Nekudus, that's the vowelization of the letters. And then you have Tavim. You have the tropes, the nigunim. The way that you sing the Sefer Torah. And then you have the letters. The letters are the lowest. Is Keneged Nefesh. You have the musical annotations, which is the Tavim. That's Pchinas Ruach. The inner Nekudas is the Neshama. And then on top of it, you have a Chaya, which this is the Tagim. This is the little crowns on the letters of Shatnez Get. Now that's the highest level within the realm of Oisius. Letters themselves are the condenser of the Lakuzar Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu is infinite, and anything Kodesh Baruch Hu will be infinite. Kodesh Baruch Hu will make an elephant will be infinite, will make an ant will be infinite. Because infinite is infinite, creates infinite. Kodesh Baruch Hu needs a mechanism that will enable to create, squeeze it down to size. That mechanism is the letters. The letters are with which, the ends of power of Kodesh Baruch Hu is constricted, so it can create an ant which is this small, an elephant which is this big, and the seas and the skies, and so on. Within the Oisius, you have these four levels. The highest one is the Tagin. When Moshe came to Har Sinai, he saw the Kodesh Baruch Hu writing these Tagim to the Oisius. He's making these little crowns on top of the letter Shatnez Getz. So, Omaloi, Moshe Rabbeinu says, in other words, what is the necessity to do this? Why do you need to do this? Why do you have to add on crowns to the letters? You already have everything. Omaloi Kodesh Baruch Hu says, Osid Echad Lamod. There will be a person, Akiva ben Yosef Shmoin. His name is going to be Akiva ben Yosef. Shedoirish al kol kots the kots on every single spitz over there, Tilim Shalalochis. He's gonna, amazing amount of halachas on every single spitz. In other words, so I have to create it because it's going to be this is going to be historic. Amaloi, Ribbono Shel Olam. This is amazing. I mean, I can understand. That's beyond my pay grade. Unbelievable. Roshet Dinos and Atera Leodai. Let him give the Torah. There's another Maisa, when they said that the Gemara says that there's another Maisa in the Gemara with Rebbe Akiva that the famous Maisa that he came to because Baruch Hu showed him all the leaders of all the generations. He came to the class of Rebbe Akiva. Rebbe Akiva spoke, and he was darshaning all these drushes, and Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't understand what he's saying, and he was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" I mean, it's like I'm chopped liver. What's going on? So, and when somebody asked Rebbe Akiva, "What's the source for this thing?" Akiva says, "Halacha l'Moshe Sinai." Okay, if that's for Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, so you calm down. You don't understand what was the kasha and what was the teretz, but nevertheless, this is when Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Okay, what's the schar of this tzaddik?" So you saw that he's being tortured to death by the Romans. And the same thing, Moshe Rabbeinu says, that Torah is a schar. This is Torah. That's a schar for the Torah that you learned. So the same answer the Kodesh Baruch Hu gave there, he's giving on this incident also. The Rabbeinu says, let him give the Torah. This is such a high madrega. Rebbe Akiva, let him give the Torah. Kodesh Baruch Hu says, "Shtoik, be silent. Kach ol b'machshava." That's the way that I thought things to be. So Rabbeinu says, just a second, it seems like a kasha. Yeah. What? I'm talking about that. I thought you needed cold water. Okay. Because Baruch Hu told him, be silent. That's what I thought of. This is what I thought things to be. In other words, be on your pay grade. Don't get into this. It's not your domain. So Rabbeinu says, "L'chorah kosher, but l'chorah it's a kasher." Ma amar Kodesh Baruch Hu shtok. Kodesh Baruch Hu told him, be quiet. You already asked it. Al kvar amar kosher. Ma zo shtika. So what is he supposed to be silent about? You can tell him, okay, listen, it's beyond you. It's not. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Okay, but what you tell him, don't say it. You already said it. You asked the question. Maybe Rebbe Akiva should give the Torah, or in other instances, this is that's a schar Rebbe Akiva. Kodesh Baruch Hu shtok. Don't ask. Don't ask. I already asked. So what is the Kodesh Baruch Hu gaining by saying, be quiet, be silent? You already asked it. So he says, Achtechev, Rabbeinu explains it differently. He says, the mit Achtechev k'shama Moshe Akasha, immediately when Moshe Rabbeinu asked the question, either the Torah is a schara, or let him be the one who's giving the Torah, nafal b'sichla teretz al Akasha. He understood already the answer. But if you would say out this particular teretz, he would gain a brand new makif, much bigger than the one before. Now he will understand a kasha, a difficulty which is far more difficult than the one that he asked. Be quiet. Don't say the teretz that you just understood. He didn't tell him, don't say the kasha. He said already the kasha. That's not right. He said, I know that you understand the teretz. Don't say it. Because if you will let it out, you'll get another makif, a much bigger kasha that you will never have time. It'll really get you into trouble. Just stay away from it. Let me be quiet and not reveal the teretz. So you wouldn't come into a much bigger difficulty than before. This is the way it came up in the thought. In other words, the in the instant that you reveal the inner seichel that you already understand, it comes up in your thought a brand new seichel, a brand new makif. A new makif comes in. That's why you have to be totally quiet. You have to be totally and completely quiet. Don't say anything. Don't say the teretz that you just understood. If you reveal that teretz, you get a brand new kasha, which you won't be able to answer. You have to be quiet. So you don't stumble on makifin that you need not to understand. Because already beyond the, and there's a Haggadah that says that what Kadosh Baruch Hu was warning Moshe Rabbeinu regarding the teretz that he understood, that the teretz on the kasha, I mean, the kasha that comes afterwards, is above the level of thought. This is above thought. You can't even think there. Don't go there. There's already a seichel that a thought cannot grasp. Be quiet, because that's the way it came out in the thought. Be careful. And in the Agos, they say Moshe was above the level of thinking. That's why he knew the teretz. That's why he understood the teretz. The Sisrei Oisius or the Kisrei, the crowns of the Oisius, either one of the. We said that the crowns of the Oisius is the highest with the realm of letters. There's the highest level. That's a Pchinas Chaya. That's the highest there is. So he said, and this is already beyond Machshava. Vadvorim Stumim, and the issues that we're dealing here are totally unfathomable. It's not comprehensible. It cannot be contained in human intellect in any way, shape, or form. The Rebbe did not explain this inyan, in depth. He says the Zeh Perush, in this explanation, Chazal said, Hevu Mesunim Badin, be easy with the din. Va'amidu Talmidim Harbe, and make a lot of Talmidim, Vasu Sagater. He said, Madin, we said before, that the tzaddik has to show, the role of the tzaddik is to show somebody who knows everything, and he's a very, very high madrega, and he hasn't even started yet. That everything that he knew until now, it doesn't even begin. And on the other hand, completely the opposite. Somebody who's very, very far from Kadosh Baruch Hu, very, very low madrega. Kadosh Baruch Hu to show Kadosh Baruch Hu is with him, and is by him, and he supports him, and he listens to him, and he loves you. We had a whole shir about that. So Zimsudin Badin, be easy, take it easy when you're judging. You should have slow, Messinas, patience. How to speak with every single person. Before those who are the big guys, you haven't known anything. You haven't started knowing. Those, the dwellers of the low, the Kodesh Baruch Hu is everywhere. He's by you. He listens to you. He loves you. He wants you. Why is it Pchinas Din? Pchinas Mishpat? What's got to do with it? Kodesh Baruch Hu is a judge. What is the action of a judge? It says he brings up one side, he lowers the other. The tzaddik has to be able, the ones who are up, has to be able to lower them down and show him that they haven't started yet. And those that are low, he has to lift up. the seesaw ability. This is called mishpot. Ze yashpil v'ze yorim. Elokim shofet, ze yashpil v'ze yorim. The higher you low and you lower, and the lower you bring up. Elokim shofet, ze yashpil v'ze yorim. Shagvol tzich lashpil. To see that they don't know anything yet in the knowledge of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Vaktonim, those who are sheikhne offer that dwell of the earth. Tziklarim, you have to lift them up. You have to. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. How all this is done? When you have this ability to be able to lower those who are full of themselves and elevate those who are nothing by themselves, because everybody can learn with him. Everybody can learn from him. The big ones will learn that they haven't started it, and they'll get new motivation to start all over again. The lower ones will not give up, and okay, I have new hope. I can always start all over again, and so forth and so on. Everybody needs him. He has a koyach to learn with all of them. Make a border to the Torah. Chazal said, that what is the border? How do you achieve chokhmah? Just to keep your mouth shut. Don't talk too much. He says, somebody who is a shait, he talks a lot. But nevertheless, if you take the cotton wool out of your ears and put it in your mouth, you're able to hear. You realize this is your real madrega. The shtika is a gather for chokhmah, because you have to be careful with what it is that you reveal, what it is that you say. The shtokafim, sometimes you have to be quiet. When you have a chokhmah, you know it already, but you don't learn it. Siag l'chokhmah, make a sag, make a border, make a shtok kach olam ha'machshava. This comes from that particular level. But because the tzaddik is zoiche to have a numberless amount of talmidim, he gets makifin all the time, higher and higher and higher all the time. There's zoche lasigas a makifin. He gets the makifin. Now that he's masig and maybe mashaloach rabbi mitchila, now he understands things he couldn't understand before. Okay, and that's why he has to be very careful. So tsiag l'dvarav, to make a boundary to his words, l'lishtoi. Sometimes, in order not to get in his own mind into makifin that is beyond time. There's not enough time on earth, in reality, in existence, in creation, from beginning to the end. That is enough in order to explain the kashas and the teruts and that are there. So we have, Baruch Hashem, understood that there is an inyan she'eni learning class. Sometimes this inyan of darimata, darimalo, combine into one thing, and the main the proper behavior to this eating of shtoik. We had it last week's pasha in the pasha ba'aloischal. We said within nature is seven candelabras, 7 days, 7 days of the week, 7 years, and 7 shmitas. Everything has to do with nature is 7. Why 7? Because time and place is up, down, left, right, forwards, and backwards, in the middle. That's 7. This is Olam Haba. 8 and beyond is already Olam Haba. And there are certain things that are happening within your world. Maybe somebody from your family is falling off the derech in a way that you don't know what to do yourself. What should I do? Should I tear my hair off? What should I do? I mean, and it comes to you to say like, whoa, this is too much. Forget about it. This is not, now you cross the red line. This is it. There are red lines. Halacha, whatever. So when you hear these things, and your first impetus is to say, how can you? How could you? Whatever it is that you want to say, you should know. This is Daramata. There is an Eden of Daramala in this particular thing. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what Kadosh Baruch Hu is doing with this. You don't know. You don't know what this child is supposed to get to. You don't know what is the tikkun, because it's not necessarily for now. 50 years from now, 100 years from now, you don't know. It's, as we said before, as I say many times, it's beyond our pay grade. Within the Daramata, there's also an of Shtoik. Be quiet. Be quiet. Ask the Astera, they'll tell him what to do, how to do, whatever it is. Talk to it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu about it. But first of all, before you do more damage you can never fix, Shtoik. You speak to Kadosh Baruch Hu about it, you'll get a makif of how to deal with it. Baruch Hu should help us. And by the way, it's not only just for children or somebody else, for you as well. Because you can come also to the same Madrigal, like, listen, each and any one of us is basically has you call a headline of how do I define myself. I'm a Shemitah Yid, I'm a this, I'm a that, and some people I'm a Hashem, I'm a businessman. And according to the way that you define yourself, this is how the things that you get involved with. And the thing is that if I define myself as somebody, I'm a little here, a little there, whatever it is, I'm not too bad, so I allow myself a little here, a little there, sometimes in the world, whatever it is. So maybe I open my heart for typhus to come in. Because I'm allowing myself, I'm not careful. And I take a look at myself and I see, look, I already have white hair in my beard. It's like what's going to be with me? I can't reinvent myself. I can start again, yeah. But I cannot, become Reb Shmuel Shapira. I can't do this. What's going to be with me? And I really have no answer. The answer is Stoik kach ol b'machshava. You do yours. You serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu according to the way you can. Daven the best you can, learn the best you can, be besimcha, lean on the tzaddik. Zeu. Stoik kach ol b'machshava. You don't know. You have no idea what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from you. Hashem yazor b'zat Hashem, Rabbi Mischazek b'schus the tzaddikim, Rabbeinu HaKodesh. What a prayer. אשרינו, מה טוב חלקנו. Just